Hello, this is News Podcast Daily, and following are the headlines.
Danish Crown Prince paid an official visit to Vietnam. Ireland pledged €55 million in non-refundable aid to Vietnam. Vietnam and Nigeria to boost trade ties. Forestry exhibition opened in Hanoi.
Danish Crown Prince Frederik is on Vietnam visit on the occasion of the 40th anniversary of Vietnam-Denmark diplomatic ties. On November 28th, he was received by President Trương Tấn Sang, Prime Minister Nguyễn Tấn Dũng, and Vice State President Nguyễn Thị Doan.
During his meeting with Vice State President Nguyễn Thị Doan, the two sides expressed their pleasure at the development of friendship and multifaceted cooperation between the two countries. They spoke highly of the establishment of Vietnam-Denmark strategic partnership in climate change, environment, energy, and green growth. Vice President Doan thanked Denmark for its further official development assistance provision for Vietnam, which she said will focus on coping with climate change, scientific research, and development of environmentally friendly industries. Crown Prince Frederik expressed his wish to enhance cooperation with Vietnam in trade, investment, and education and training in future. Also on November 28th, Prime Minister Nguyễn Tấn Dũng hosted the reception for Crown Prince Frederik. Prime Minister Dũng said Vietnam attaches importance to promoting bilateral cooperation, especially in trade, investment, official development assistance, and human resource development. Prime Minister Dũng stressed that Vietnam always remembers the support provided by Denmark, particularly its official development assistance. To date, Denmark has provided more than $1 billion to assist Vietnam speed up socio-economic development and fulfill Millennium Development Goals. Crown Prince Frederik told his host that Denmark wants to boost cooperation with Vietnam in the fields of economics, trade, investment, and education and training in the years to come. The Crown Prince also suggested the two countries soon open a direct air route to boost trade and investment relations.
Most Venerable Thích Thanh Tứ, permanent Vice President of the Vietnam Buddhist Sangha's Executive Council, passed away on November 26th at the age of 85.
Party, state, and Fatherland Front delegations paid tributes to the Most Venerable on November 28th at the Quán Sư Pagoda, the headquarters of the Vietnam Buddhist Sangha. Party General Secretary Nguyễn Phú Trọng, State President Trương Tấn Sang, National Assembly Chairman Nguyễn Sinh Hùng, and Prime Minister Nguyễn Tấn Dũng sang wreaths to the ceremony. Most Venerable Thích Thanh Tứ, real name Trần Văn Long, was born in 1927 in Sông Mai Commune, Kim Động District, the Red River Delta province of Hưng Yên. He was also a member of the Vietnam Buddhist Sangha Patronage Council, a deputy to the 11th and 12th National Assemblies, and a member of the Presidium of the Vietnam Fatherland Front Central Committee. The Buddhist dignitary made a significant contribution to merging 9 Buddhist sects and organizations and setting up the Vietnam Buddhist Sangha. With his contributions, Most Venerable Thích Thanh Tứ was conferred by the party and state a number of noble distinctions, including the Ho Chi Minh Order. A commemorative ceremony for the Most Venerable will be held on November 30th, and he will rest at the stupa at the Vietnam Buddhist Institute in Hanoi's outlying Sóc Sơn district.
Ireland has pledged a non-refundable aid of €55 million to Vietnam for the 2011-2015 period.
The commitment was part of the development cooperation strategy between Vietnam and Ireland, which was announced in Hanoi on November the 28th during the visit to Vietnam by Ireland Minister of State for Trade and Development Jan O'Sullivan. The overall objective of the strategy is to support Vietnamese government's socio-economic development plan in the 2011-2015 period.
Program in Vietnam. It is a very special program because it is very targeted It's because Vietnam has made good progress in addressing issues of poverty, but we are targeted on the particular areas where there is a lot more progress still to be made.
The strategy focuses on poverty reduction in rural areas, increasing assistance to disabled people, and sharing experience between Vietnam and Ireland to promote growth, sustainable development, and integration.
The Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development has approved a Swiss-funded project to reduce poverty by developing animal husbandry in the northern mountainous region.
Accordingly, the Swiss Agency for Development and Cooperation will provide a non-refundable aid of 1.19 million euros for the project, which is estimated to cost more than 2.32 million euros in total. The project will be carried out at the Vietnam Institute for Animal Husbandry and in the northern provinces of Phu Thọ, Yên Bái, and Sơn La. It aims to increase local farmers' incomes by providing them with more breeding services and sustainable animal husbandry models.
On November 28th, the Ministry of Industry and Trade held a workshop to boost trade between Vietnam and Nigeria.
Participants at the workshop suggested the two governments create favorable legal framework for businesses of the two countries. They also asked the Nigerian government to soon recognize Vietnam's full market economy and assist Vietnamese businesses' investment in oil and gas, mining and power generation. Nigeria is considered a gateway for Vietnamese enterprises to enter the Western and Central African markets. Two-way trade between Vietnam and Nigeria reached $155 million in 2010 and $121 million in the first 10 months of 2011. Vietnam exports garment, seafood, rice and cosmetics to Nigeria and imports raw cashew nut, cotton and wood.
Disbursement of foreign investment exceeds $10 billion during the first 11 months this year. The figure represents a year-on-year rise of 1%.
The Foreign Investment Agency has earlier set a target of $11 to $11.5 billion in disbursement for the entire year. The agency said, despite over $1 billion in newly registered foreign investment this month, the highest level of its kind since August, the total of this kind of investment in the period still dropped by 16% against last year's total of $9.9 billion. Hong Kong remained the leading source of foreign investment, with nearly $3.1 billion, accounting for 24.3% of the country's newly registered capital. It was followed by Japan, $2.12 billion, Singapore, $1.58 billion, and the Republic of Korea, $1.16 billion.
An online symposium on renovation and creativity in information technology and communications in Vietnam was held in Paris and Ho Chi Minh City on November 26th.
The symposium, the fourth of its kind, focused discussion on investment in and renovation of ICT programs, software development, and mobile application in Vietnam. Professor Dương Nguyên Vũ from the Ho Chi Minh National University's John von Neumann Institute suggested a number of projects and films to which Vietnamese intellectuals in France and Europe can contribute.
A forestry exhibition opened in Hanoi on November 27th. It aims to raise public awareness of conserving forests and biodiversity in Vietnam.
On display at the exhibition are 80 photos selected from a recent photo contest on forests. The photos depict the beauty of Vietnam's forests and species of flora and fauna. They also focused on the impacts made by human activities on forests. The exhibition, which will run until December the 3rd, is part of activities to mark Vietnam's Forestry Day and the International Year of Forests launched by the United Nations. Statistics released by the World Bank showed that more than 1.6 billion people depend on the use of forests for their livelihood. On an international level, forest products are traded at a scale of $270 billion a year, or in other words, forests are an engine of global economic growth and employment. However, each year, 130 million hectares of the world forest area is lost, resulting in global warming and loss of biodiversity. Vietnam is home to 15,000 hectares of forests qualified for sustainable forest management certification. The country targets to develop 2.5 million hectares of forest qualified for the certification by 2020.
And this is the end of the news today. Thanks for watching and see you next time.